Hello. There is one decision that can save you and your children's life, and that is the choice to be vaccinated. Rates of vaccination have decreased, rates of deadly diseases have increased. Being an aspiring nurse, I have studied the effectiveness of vaccines and consulted many very reliable studies, and I now consider myself an expert in this area. Today, I will discuss the recent outbreaks of disease in the U.S., analyze controversy associated with vaccines, assess the success rates of vaccines, and implore you to keep your loved ones safe by getting vaccinated. With more and more parents deciding not to vaccinate their children, diseases that were previously thought to be eradicated are now putting adults and children alike at risk. In CK Research's 2016 Vaccine Controversies, recent outbreaks of once thought to be eradicated diseases highlight the need for vaccines. In 2014, at Disneyland, an outbreak of the measles caused by one visitor caused 141 cases of the measles in 7 states, plus Canada and Mexico. This outbreak was fueled by immunization rates as low as 50% in some states. Despite not seeing these diseases as much as we used to, it is important to keep vaccinating. This is a reminder that despite the absence of these certain diseases in recent history, we are still extremely susceptible to them. Now that we've examined recent outbreaks, let's take a closer look at the controversy regarding vaccines. Many parents worry about vaccinating their children due to the supposed link between the MMR vaccine and autism. According to John Calfee's article, concerns about a link between vaccines and autism are unfounded. A seminal event in the vaccine autism controversy was the 1998 publication of the article in The Lancet by Andrew Wakefield. Wakefield's article reported on an examination of 12 children who had developed both gastrointestinal problems and severe behavioral problems after receiving the MMR vaccine. This article remains the biggest evidence of a connection between vaccines and autism. However, Calfee states that the British Medical Journal then released a series of articles by Dear exposing Wakefield's work as not only sloppy, but deceptively presented or fraudulent. Now that we've discussed the controversy of vaccines, let's discuss the success of vaccines. Can you picture what our world would look like if we didn't have to worry about our children contracting a fatal illness? SIR's issues researchers section, Should Vaccines Be Mandatory?, reminds us of the importance and the effectiveness of vaccines and supports this claim with very detailed studies. Vaccines are among the most effective healthcare innovations ever devised. One of these studies, mentioned in a November 2013 New England Journal of Medicine article, drawing off of the University of Pittsburgh's Project TICA database of the infectious diseases statistics since 1888, concluded that vaccinations since 1924 have prevented 103 million cases of deadly diseases. According to Newsweek's 2017 article, anti-vaxxer parents should really know about herd immunity before they skip immunizations. In order to achieve this goal, everyone needs to make the decision to vaccinate their children. Immunity for the measles is only achieved when 90 to 95% of the whole population receives the vaccine. According to the 2015 Autism Speaks article, no MMR autism link in large studies of vaccinated versus unvaccinated kids, and the association between the MMR vaccine and autism is unfounded. A study of 95,727 children, including more than 15,000 children unvaccinated at age 2 and more than 8,000 still unvaccinated at age 5, were studied. Their conclusion was consistent with the studies in other populations that no association between MMR vaccination and autism was found. In fact, autism rates were lower in vaccinated groups than in the unvaccinated groups. In order to protect our children and others, we need to have our children vaccinated. Now, let's recap. I began by telling you of recent outbreaks like that of Disneyland in 2014, analyzed the supposed link between the MMR vaccine and autism, discussed the benefits of vaccines and the necessity of them to keep our children safe, and finally implored you to vaccinate your children to keep them safe. Make the decision to vaccinate your children and fully and on time. And this is one decision that could end up saving your child's life.
Yay! Yay!